You either die a hero or live long enough to get a soft reboot. Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome to Watch Mojo. Today we're counting down our picks for everything we know about the Batman so far.
I've seen you go through similar phases in 2016 and 2012 and 2008 and 2005 and 1997 and 1995 and 1992 and 1989 and that weird one in 1966.
That means we're looking at all the facts and details that have been revealed or strongly hinted at pertaining to The Batman, which is scheduled to hit theaters in 2021. However, keep in mind that because this film is in development, many things may change along the way. All right, let's check it out. Number 10, Matt Reeves is directing.
If the plan goes south, we're gonna bring in the big guns.
For the longest time, Ben Affleck was set to direct and star in the standalone Batman movie.
He'll get over it.
By January 2017, though, Affleck and the studio reportedly came to the mutual decision that someone else should helm the project. Enter Matt Reeves, who officially landed the gig a month later. In addition to directing and producing, Reeves is also co-writing the screenplay with Mattson Tomlin, while acclaimed composer Michael Giacchino is doing the score. Reeves, meanwhile, broke out into mainstream popularity when he teamed up with his childhood friend J.J. Abrams on Cloverfield. Since then, Reeves has directed and written the American remake of Let the Right One In, as well as the Planet of the Apes sequels. Number 9, it's based on The Long Halloween. Most live-action Batman movies have borrowed from the essential graphic novels.
You're not brave. Men are brave.
According to Kevin Smith, Reeves' Batman will primarily draw inspiration from The Long Halloween, a classic comic limited series written by Jeff Loeb with artwork by Tim Sale. Smith broke the news on his Fat Man Beyond podcast, claiming that he got confirmation from Reeves himself. The Long Halloween revolves around an enigmatic killer known as Holiday, who strikes every month on a different holiday. The comic also chronicles Harvey Dent's evolution into Two-Face, which was already explored in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. If Long Halloween is providing the basis for this movie, perhaps the next Batman film could tackle its sequel, Dark Victory. Number 8, it's a noir-driven detective story.
Where's your father now?
Haven't a clue. Why don't you try Madagascar?
That's not what you told Reeves. You told him you were closer than ever to your father.
Batman is the world's greatest detective, but most of the live-action depictions have missed this character trait.
Those squares from Luther's notes. I think they must be containers of some kind.
Reeves describes his interpretation as, quote, an almost noir-driven detective version of Batman. The director further stated that the film would be, quote, point-of-view driven, allowing the audience to experience, quote, what's going on inside of his head and inside of his heart. Reeves compared this approach to Alfred Hitchcock, who always made the audience feel as if they were in the main character's shoes, thus intensifying the suspense.
Sitting around looking out of the window to kill time is one thing, but doing it the way you are with binoculars and wild opinions about every little thing you see is disease.
We could see Bruce Wayne blending in well with a Hitchcockian thriller like North by Northwest, Vertigo, or even Rear Window. What's especially refreshing is that Reeves' film won't be an origin story, as we've seen Batman begin one too many times. Number 7, it has limited connections to the DCEU. If you don't take the time to lay the groundwork, the structure is going to collapse. The studio learned this the hard way with Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, and Justice League, which seemed more interested in teasing future sequels and spin-offs rather than focusing on the story at hand.
Let's go home.
Thankfully, the DCEU is finally starting to realize that cinematic universes do not flourish overnight. Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam were all mostly self-contained, with minimal connections to the larger universe.
I'm Batman.
Get him, Batman!
The Batman will reportedly take a similar approach. According to Reeves, quote, there are ways in which all of this connects to DC, to the DC universe as well. However, Reeves added that he was, quote, focused very specifically on this aspect of the DC world.
Oh yeah, that's the old Batarang. I mean, it's a replica, but feel how sharp. Could kill you in your sleep with that thing.
Number 6, there's a new Jim Gordon in town.
How many of you are there? Not enough.
While he wasn't on screen long in the theatrical cut of Justice League, fans generally agreed that Oscar winner J.K. Simmons turned in a solid portrayal of Commissioner James Gordon. Too bad Simmons will probably never get to play the character in a greater capacity.
Do you really think that...
Oh, wow, they really just vanish. Huh? Oh, that's rude.
Although Simmons expressed interest in reprising his role, and even said he was signed on for 3 movies, Gordon is being recast for the Batman.
A special passport to get from the Marvel Universe to the DC Universe?
Yeah, and I don't have it yet. The paperwork is in progress.
On the plus side, Reeves has set his sights on an equally promising candidate to play Gotham's most dedicated cop.
Go ahead. Erase my sentience, my mnemonic.
Yes. Such clinical language.
In September 2019, it was announced that Jeffrey Wright of Westworld was in talks to play Gordon. Wright all but guaranteed his involvement on Twitter. As for Simmons, well, at least he's finally back playing J. Jonah Jameson.
There you have it, folks. Conclusive proof that Spider-Man was responsible for the brutal murder of Mysterio.
Number 5, it won't have Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Although Todd Phillips' Joker has been an enormous hit for DC and Warner Brothers, there are currently no plans for a sequel.
This is the last time we'll be meeting.
You don't listen, do you?
We are also unlikely to see Joaquin Phoenix bring Arthur Fleck into the DCEU anytime soon. Even if Phoenix does don the clown makeup again, it reportedly will not be in The Batman. When asked if Phoenix's Joker would pop up in Reeves' film, Phillips conclusively said, quote, "No, definitely not."
You just ask the same questions every week.
Robert Pattinson wasn't sure how a crossover would work, saying, quote, "It's kind of a different world." Given the less than stellar reception to Jared Leto's Joker, it's safe to assume that he won't be in The Batman either.
It's so intense.
Could that mean that yet another actor will take on the role in future installments? Only time will tell.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
Number 4, Paul Dano is the Riddler.
Just give me $500 in cash right now and I'll tell you where it is.
With the long Halloween being a key source of inspiration, the Batman is sure to break out the heroes rogues gallery.
Calendar Man, Kite Man, Cat Man, Zebra Man, and the Condiment King!
Okay, are you making some of those up?
Nope, they're all real.
When asked if he'd reprise his role as Deathstroke, Joe Manganiello vaguely responded, quote, maybe, we'll see.
You better not be wasting my time.
No, I have too much to live for.
Although Jonah Hill was reportedly in talks to play either the Penguin or the Riddler, he decided to walk away from the project in the end. Not long after Hill passed, it was officially announced that Paul Dano had been locked down to play Riddler.
Yes, sir. All right, then.
In this version, the Riddler's alter ego will go by Edward Nashton rather than Edward Nygma. Will Riddler be the movie's main villain, or is he just a piece in an even larger game? That's a riddle for another day.
Was that over the top? I can never tell.
Number 3, Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman. It may have been more satirical in tone, but the Lego Batman movie actually foreshadowed a casting choice for Reeves' film.
Catwoman!
Meow meow, you're in! Meow meow.
Zoe Kravitz provided the voice of Selena Kyle, also known as Catwoman. Now, Kravitz will actually get to suit up as the leather-clad cat burglar in The Batman.
You poor guys. Always confusing your pistols with your privates.
And that's not the only connection Kravitz shares to the DC brand. Her mother, actress Lisa Bonet, is married to Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa. Kravitz is no stranger to comic book roles, having previously played Angel Salvador in X-Men First Class and voiced Mary Jane Watson in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Hello.
Oh, wow.
I just wondered if we could have some more bread at table 12?
As Catwoman, Kravitz follows in the footsteps of Michelle Pfeiffer and Anne Hathaway. Let's just hope she doesn't take notes from the Halle Berry version.
Like my nails? Just got them done. Oops, my bad.
Number 2, Robert Pattinson is the Batman.
The Hogwarts champion, Cedric Diggory.
Although actors like Nicholas Hoult were eyed for the part, Robert Pattinson was ultimately cast as the next Batman in May 2019.
Who's he?
Pattinson broke out into stardom as Cedric Diggory in the Harry Potter franchise, and of course, Edward Cullen in the Twilight Saga. In more recent years, however, Pattinson has been branching out into critically acclaimed indie dramas like Good Time, High Life, and The Lighthouse.
How would you like it if I made you cry, huh? Would you like that?
One of the reasons Pattinson was drawn to this role is because Batman's not a straightforward hero.
Shame on you,
Shame on me?
You're not helping.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Actually, Pattinson went as far as to say that, quote, Batman's not a hero, but rather, quote, a complicated character. This could be hinting that Pattinson's take on Batman will be more of an anti-hero who hasn't fully developed a moral code yet.
Just looking to earn a living, just like any man. Starting new.
On the run.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. There's no connection to Zack Snyder and Ben Affleck's Batman.
You know you can't do this forever.
I can barely do it now.
After walking away from the director's chair, it wasn't long until Affleck decided to hang up the cape and cowl for good.
We make it through tonight. You can stay in the shadows forever.
This paved the way for Pattinson to step up as the DCEU's new Batman. Since there's a noticeable age gap between these two actors, some speculated that Reeves' film may take place before Zack Snyder's movies.
The world needs you. It doesn't need you.
It's since been reported, though, that the Batman is not a prequel. While still part of the DCEU, this will apparently be a standalone film with no links to Affleck's Batman.
Fairy tales and ghost stories.
One misses the days when one's biggest concerns were exploding wind-up penguins.
The DCEU is in the midst of a retooling, meaning this cinematic universe could go in any number of directions. Whatever awaits, the Batman should be an integral stepping stone. So, are you excited for the Batman, or do you have like Dark Knight fatigue? Or is this gonna be like a Spider-Man situation and we're gonna have like 1,000 of them over the next decade? Let us know in the comments, or come tell me on Twitter or Instagram at Rebecca Brayton who your favorite Batman is. Mine's Val Kilmer. Shh. Anyway, be sure to like and subscribe, and also please watch this other video.